We are back after my epic road trip. I got Jake with me. Say hello, Jake.
What's up, guys?
And we're back for Hops and Horses. I don't know. I think this might be number 10. I'm not sure. But we're
Nine,
back.
maybe nine or 10.
Well, when
We've
I
been
put it up,
gone.
I'll figure out what number it is. But
Yeah, we've been out of pocket for a while. You've
been out
been
of pocket. I've lost
gone.
count. But I'm back from this road trip. Yesterday, I drove 15 hours. Okay. Yes, yesterday. And the day before, I was at the races all day. I only had 2 drinks, so I was good there. But then after the races were over at 6:30 at night, I drove another 4 hours.
Mm.
And then I finished up today with then I finished yesterday with 15 hours. And let me just tell you, that is an exhausting way to finish up a road trip, but great road trip. Let me just say, of course, you and I were in Chicago together. Arlington was fantastic.
Oh, awesome.
Loved it.
I hate that it's going away. I mean, that was my first time there. That's why I flew up, I kind of, we talked about Arlington or Saratoga, and I said, hey, I kind of feel like Saratoga is going to be there, but Arlington maybe not. So I went ahead and flew up for that.
Then I made my way over to Saratoga. I did stop in Indiana and Thistledowns. Let me tell you, Indiana has the best sports bar you can imagine. I mean, sports book and race book. It's like Vegas. It's so nice. Watch the races there. Thistledowns, I hit an ice cold pick 5. Well, I didn't hit it. I didn't bet it. I left the races early. But the last 5 winners all were top horse in my sheet. Then Saratoga had a complete blast. Travers Day finally cooled off. The races were unbelievable. Friends Fire gashing Yaupon.
Yeah,
it is one of the best races I'll ever remember.
Yeah, that's unforgettable, man.
Unforgettable.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I feel like other people. I think Andy Serling said he's seen it many times.
I've seen it, but not to that degree.
I've never seen it. I mean, I feel like I've watched 10,000 races in my life, and I've never ever seen anything like that.
I've seen
crazy
replays, but it's like one bite, and then this was bite.
Oh, this was an attack.
Yeah.
This was. I mean, yeah.
This
was like a straight mauling coming down the stretch of the greatest racetrack in the world on the biggest day. I mean, this is 90 minutes before the Travers. Yeah, no, that was wild.
Now, Travers Day was great. I mean, every day was great there. I met some great people and had great food, great beverages. But I got upgraded Travers Day. Well, not really upgraded, more snuck in to the new 1863 Club, which is basically high roller central. Although I gotta say, a little disappointing. But the one good thing about it was the crowd was small over there. Small crowd. And you could get right up to the horses as they're walking onto the track. I mean, I was right next to such a quality.
So at Saratoga, that's not you can't normally get that close unless you're in that club.
You can get close, but it's a battle. I mean, everyone's trying to get to the rail. It's a battle, especially for the Travers. I mean, maybe the other races wasn't too hard, but for the Travers, everyone wants to get close, and it was very easy to do in the 1863 Club. But you're pretty far down. You're on the clubhouse turn. You're pretty far down. So I didn't like that, but went in there.
It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. I mean, as far as the crowds and Saratoga and all that.
Yeah.
I remember that reminds me of I was at Santa Anita in 2014 for the Breeders' Cup. And that was the year Byron won when he blew the gate and like knocked out half the field,
including the favorite Shared Belief.
Yeah. And so right before, the only time I walked down to the paddock was for the Classic. And I mean, I felt like I could have gotten in there. Like I felt like I could have went and saddled one of those horses. I mean, there was nobody around, and it was the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I'm standing there, and it's like California Chrome and Shared Belief and Byron, and I mean, it was, it's a 2-day thing, and that's the last race of the 2 days. I think everybody was up on the apron and like ready to watch the race, but totally, totally different.
Yeah. I got a couple of souvenirs. I'm not a big souvenir guy. Okay. But I got my Saratoga boot. It's got the little Saratoga logo on it. They gave me this with one of my beers. So I think this will go somewhere in my office. That's my souvenir. I got the form for the Travers. I never buy the form. I got my own program, but felt like I had to buy the form. And again, the racing quality that day, every race was like down to the wire. And then I'm going to keep this as a little souvenir. This is my Avis receipt.
Oh,
yeah. I drove on this road trip 4,122 miles.
Man, Avis is kicking themselves.
Trust me, they lost money. They lost money. No way unlimited mileage worked out for them. I mean,
if an Avis representative winds up watching Hops and Horses, you might get a knock on your door.
So anyway, great week. I did a video with Bree Mott, and then after that,
I watched that.
Yeah, after that video, I crushed Colonial Downs.
Yeah,
and I'm going to open a beer that my friend gave me at Colonial, and then at Delaware, only day I lost.
What was your money track?
I was at races. Let's see, 4 Saratoga, 7, 8, 9 days. I won money profit 8 out of 9 days. That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, but I lost at Delaware. I went 0 for 5, didn't cash a ticket, and Tom and Tom Racing was there. So that was nice to meet him, and he introduced me to a couple other people, and it was great. We got a picture of Grand Motion.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, all right. Enough of the road trip. Maybe we'll talk more about it later. But it was a great road trip. And we're going to do our beverage now. Now I'm going to open up this beer. I got this beer. It's a Virginia beer. I got this beer from my good friend now, Jeff. I won't reveal his last name for his privacy. But Jeff and his girlfriend, Kelly, bought me 2 6-packs of beer, including this one called Morning Haze Double IPA. Exactly what I like.
Is it the last one?
No, this is the first of the 6-pack.
Oh.
And wonderful. I can't wait to try it. So we're going to literally open it right now.
Cool.
Try for the first time. And I'm going to say it's good no matter what, but it's going to be good.
Oh yeah. It even sounded good when you opened it. It sounded better than normal.
Oh, well, so look at that beautiful hazy IPA color. What are you drinking?
Well, I've already had a couple sips of mine. My drink, I jump around,
Right.
My drink tonight has no hops in it, but plenty of grapes in it. It is a Chateau Sauvignon cab.
Yeah.
We're a big cab family over here.
Right.
And so I opened this bottle tonight, and I don't think you're going to be able to see, but there's that much left.
I've had that wine before. It's a good wine.
Yeah, no, it's a good wine. I don't think they sell this it's not like a grocery store wine. I think she buys this at like a liquor store. So it's a good wine, not expensive, but yeah. So just
shout out to all the people I met on the road trip. Jeff and Kelly in Colonial, Tom, Mike, Andrew in Delaware. Too many to even mention in Saratoga. I didn't meet anybody in Indiana or Ohio. My Indiana guy unfortunately fell through last second. But I had, I met probably 20 people or so, and it was great. So, all right, let's talk about the Saratoga stakes races on Saturday. And they're not the hugest fields, but they're very competitive.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share this and this. Okay. And we're going to talk first about race 5.
Yeah.
The Prioress.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to talk first? You got
I can. I mean, I handicap these things and then I sort of halfway forget
okay.
who I picked. I looked at this one horse. I haven't new. I know I've been messaging you guys about it. I got sort of a new figure I've been trying to create.
Yeah.
And this one horse was on top of that figure. But I'm a little leery, earlier in the meet, I think I picked a horse that came in from Parks in a sprint race. I'm not sure which one it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm a little leery about these horses that come in from, not that Parks is an obscure track, but these horses are running at Saratoga. The one horse looks, like a beast, obviously from Parks. But I went with the 6 horse in here. I thought, I mean, it's the fate, I think this horse is just going to dust this field. Honestly, it looked like to me this race was some really nice young allowance horses against this horse that's really just been knocking up against like the best horses in the country, the best 3-year-old sprint horses in the country. And I really think, I think Ricardo's going to sit this horse just off the pace and just sort of pounce at the top of the stretch. And I thought she was best.
Yeah, you remember, I think I had this horse. I did have this horse in that pick 3 that the 2 O'Brien horses won. This was the middle horse. I had it as a spot play and, paid 5.9 to 1 and was quite high morning line. I can't remember the morning line, but it was higher than that. And then I really thought the horse was definitely over his head a little bit in the test, over her head, but she ran remarkably in the test. So Santana rode this horse really well, gets them out right back. I think this horse, I agree, is extremely tough. Sits on top of my sheet with the K. There's very little pace in the race. The 1 and the 2 figure to set the pace. There's really nothing else in the race from a pace standpoint. And the 6 will get the first jump on those 2 speed horses. So the 1, 2, or 6 is going to win this race. And the 2 gets this B plus with $12 of value. And, let's look at that 2. We didn't mention the 2 yet.
I had the 2 sort of second as well with that 1 horse.
So I thought the 2
cutting back
stretches out, runs remarkably well. Now cutting back, gonna probably get outrun by this 1, but should be stalking it. Gets blinkers on, which I think is strange. Horse is running extremely well and gets blinkers on. That's probably Espinosa is back on. So I'm a little confused with the blinkers on, but this horse probably is going to run second, so I think it probably goes 3, 2, 1, a little bit chalky, but that's how I see it. So let's go to the next race, which is race 8. I think this is the
Saranac, I think.
Yeah, Saranac for 3-year-old. For 3-year-olds.
3-year-old colts, yeah.
Yeah. And really interesting race. I'm trying to remember who I liked.
This is the race I think that risk taking is entered as a main track only.
Yes, risk taking the 7 is a main track only, so that's not going to happen, I don't think. And now I remember what I thought about this horse. I thought the 4 horse, first of all, was an underlay, a huge underlay. This horse hasn't raced since January for Pletcher. Something went wrong in that January race, so we really don't even know how good this horse is now at age 3. Obviously size gets them out, that's a great sign, but if this horse is the favorite or close to the favorite, that's a big underlay. And then I thought the 2, I don't know, I just don't like Wesley Ward in route races, and this horse of course had no business in the Derby and loses as the favorite at Churchill in a listed stakes, and then gets the lead, sets a slow pace, can't hold on, gets Velasquez. I mean, this horse is a pace factor. but I'm not a big Wesley Ward fan. And firing bullets 59-4, 59-4. I just don't know if this horse really wants to go 11. Well, it is only a mile 16th.
Right.
So maybe. I think it's Chad Brown's race to lose. I think he's got the two best horses, and I think Public Sector is amazing. But I think this horse down here, Founder, watch the odds, because I think this horse is every bit as legit as that one horse, with Jose, the brother, riding. And I would look hard. I think both Browns are kind of the way I see it. How do you see it?
I liked that too. I thought the horse probably didn't want that 1.125 miles, 2 races back.
Okay.
Got the got a soft setup, in the last start. There's something about John Velasquez that he tends to win races like this. He tends to kind of like jump up and win races like this. The horse has some, obviously you draw a line through the Derby. The horse, broke his maiden impressively, going a mile on the turf.
At Belterra.
The poly track or the all-weather races are pretty impressive.
So.
Those are, pretty good races. I thought this one, I also kind of like the fact that, obviously it's Saratoga. I feel like maybe they don't take it off the turf, but maybe there's a little bit of moisture in the track. And that last race where, he ran pretty well, it looked like there was some moisture in the track. I didn't like I think the one, like you said, is probably the most likely winner.
Mm-hmm.
But at a price, I was going to take a shot with the 2 here.
All right. Well, I'll bet you heads up that the 5 beats the 2.
That's a pretty good bet, man.
Yeah.
What are we going to do what the guys do on Talking Horses, like bet a lunch, or
maybe
are we going to bet?
Now, although your 2 does get the B+ grade, and I've been known to go against my plus horses before, and it's a big mistake. So he does plus.
I've been known to look at a set of past performances and figure out who your plus horse is without looking at your program. I feel like it seems like every time I pick a horse, because I haven't seen this. When we do these, I don't look at your program beforehand. So it's always interesting to see, how that goes. But yeah, I actually didn't look at that 5. I was so focused on that first page. That 5 looks like, if you get a little bit of a price, like you said, watch the price,
Yeah, I watch the price and see what happens. But I definitely don't like the 7-month layoff on the 4. I think Brown's very tough with the 1 and 5. And I think the other horse to play would be the 2. I think these long shots got no shot. All right, so let's go down to race 11. I'll let you go first this time.
This is the Flower Bowl.
This is the Flower Bowl, and I got some interesting. Maybe it's the next race. This race. Yeah, I got some interesting opinions on this race. Who do you like?
So I took the 4. I liked the 4 horses here.
Okay.
I feel like
you always like this horse, my sister Nat. You always take this horse.
Well, I feel like I took this horse. I think what happens is, I'll tell you exactly what happens. What happens is this horse always runs against Warlock Goddess.
Right.
And Warlock Goddess is always like 1 to 9 or something.
Right.
And so I always wind up picking this horse against Warlock Goddess to try to get a price, I think is what has wound up happening in the past.
Okay.
The horse is right there. I thought this race was a little similar to the first race that we looked at, where there were like some really good allowance and grade 3 horses. And then there were a couple of horses that looked like they belonged. I don't know that this horse can beat Warlike Goddess without, something going wrong with the three, like she gets in some traffic or whatever. I mean, it's a turf route. But I mean, the horse is right there every time, right?
Well, the horse doesn't win, and 1 for last 8, 3 for 18 with 7 seconds. It feels like if Warlike Goddess runs her race again and she wins, this horse might take second. I mean, Warlike Goddess is outstanding. I remember thinking before that Glen Falls that she was overbet, but boy, she did not run like she was overbet. She absolutely destroyed that field. 7th early, last early, 10 lengths back, basically galloped with the front and then opened up. I mean, that was so impressive.
Sure.
If she runs that race again, it's over. The horse that I find interesting is this 2, which I'll show you the sheet in a second. But this 2, by the way, if this 2 wins, it's just so sad. Okay, because this horse is not even barely grade 3. Okay, level.
Yeah, running in France and Italy.
Running in France and Italy, running in 72, 78,000 $78,000 stakes. It's coming over here for the $600,000 grade 1. And if this horse wins, it just tells you everything you need to know about our horse racing for right now. And I think this horse is a serious contender, and IRAD gets on board. I think this horse is very live.
So you have the experience with the European racing. Years ago, I read an article or I read something that basically ranked, like when a horse comes over here and they've been running in Europe and you're unfamiliar with European racing, it ranked the countries by like where the horse had been running. And it said, hey, this is the best, this is the second, I mean, tell me how does Italy and mostly France, the horse has been mostly running in France. How does that compare to like England racing?
France is great if it's at the right circuit. These are weak circuits. Cagnes-sur-Mer and Les Lions, d'Angers, those are weak circuits. You can look at the purse. The purse tells you everything. $78,000 race. That's what the horse won. $58,000 race. So you can see what the race is from a quality standpoint based on the purse. The horse won a $78,000 Italian grade 3 with 11 horses in it. And, on paper should not compare, should not be able to run at this level. And yet I think this horse is very live. La Signore never wins.
I like that horse as well a little bit.
Never wins.
Yeah.
Never wins. The horse that I think is interesting at another price is Costana. Not off my sheet, just off the PPs. Okay. This horse breaks the maiden with Sayas at Gulfstream, then goes 10 furlongs, runs a good second, and then goes 11 furlongs and wins a non-win. There's one other than, and the time, is halfway decent. So let's take a look at the sheet. So Costana is at the bottom, but fits the race extremely well and gets Sayas on board. It's almost an over jock situation. I think this trainer, by the way, Sherry DeVoe, is very good. 3 for 9 at Saratoga, 18% overall. And look at Sayas with her, 36%, 43% at the meet. So Sayas knows this horse. Sayas probably told her that this horse could run up here and compete at that level. Got the perfect prep race, likes the course. I mean, if you're playing anything vertical, you got to look hard at this horse. 15-1 morning line.
Yeah.
PPs look great. Warlike Goddess sits on top of the sheet. Your horse, my sister Nat, gets the plus horse. You'd like to pick my plus horses.
Man, I know how to pick those plus horses, man.
Now, American Bridge, again, shows up 4th in the sheet, but is 3rd, 4.4, 4.6, is 3rd in both PFDS odds and best odds. So to me, this horse is really a top 3 candidate. and is the only horse in the race that hasn't proven they can't beat Warlike Goddess. I mean, Warlike Goddess has proven he can beat everyone in the race, except maybe these long shots and maybe American Bridge. These other horses, these 1 and 4, he can beat these horses all day. He's proven it. So,
yeah.
Or she has. So anyway, I mean, Warlike Goddess, probably you got to use it. Look at these 2 long shots, the 2 and 7, if you're going to try to beat it. All right, let's go to the Jockey Cup Gold Cup. For some reason, they're wearing it at Saratoga. I don't know why. Do you know?
I don't know either. It's like, it just feels wrong, right? Like that feels wrong. I mean, this is a Belmont race. This is one of my favorite races ever. I've always loved the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, like this was like the prep for the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, it's really fallen on hard ground lately, but I do like the configuration better at Saratoga for a mile and a quarter. I don't think Belmont's a great mile and a quarter track. You start
they start halfway around the turn.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Who do you like?
So I think personally, I think Happy Saver is done. I don't want to, not trying to like be a savant, but I think that horse I don't think that horse is the same horse he was. I didn't like the way he ran in the Suburban.
Okay.
I didn't like the fact that even though it was first off a layoff, he kind of didn't exactly impress in that allowance race. Mm-hmm. I don't think that horse is the same horse. I think the one horse, I'll tell you, I don't know about this one horse. I feel like this one horse is like some kind of a freak of nature. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know how a Speightstown out of a hard spun mare manages to like appear to flourish like at a 1 1/8 and possibly beyond. I mean, I remember hard spun barely being able to get a 1 1/8, and I don't think Speightstown ever ran past 6.5 furlongs in his life. But that horse, that looks like a really like an up and coming, really serious horse. But I like Max Player to win. Mm-hmm. To me, this is a perfect race for a 2-horse exacta box. I think I'd be pounding a 1-2 box. And if you get Happy Saver out of there, maybe it pays 10 to 1. Maybe it pays $9 or $10 for $1. If Happy Saver's not in it. Maybe more, I don't know. But
yeah,
I like the 1 and the 2. I feel like there was a horse a couple of years ago that won the Jockey Club Gold Cup. I don't exactly remember his name, but he ran on the front end, and he was kind of like this new up and coming horse that nobody had ever seen before. Kind of reminds me of that one horse.
Well, you see the race very different than me, but I actually think the way you see it is a good interpretation. It actually makes me think a little harder on the race. First of all, on Forza, this horse was pretty good at 2, okay? And then skips his whole 3-year-old career and comes back and wins a couple races as a 3-year-old, then takes another 8 months off and comes back at Saratoga and wins a race in the mud. So the horse has serious health issues. He's owned and bred by Don Alberto. I've never heard of Don Alberto, but he's owned and bred by him. It's a $90,000 stud fee. William Mott, Bill Mott, he's being very patient with this horse. And he does that sometimes. He's so patient. So yeah, this horse could be a freak. And is just finally ready.
He reminds me, and obviously hasn't accomplished anything anywhere close to it. It kind of reminds you of like a Ghost Zapper type horse, where it's like all this, like he's just kind of running along, looking like any other normal horse, and then he freaks in a race, and then all of a sudden he like freaks in another race, and you're like, whoa, what is this? I just can't remember the name of that horse that won the Jockey Club Gold Cup on the front end. It wasn't Discovery. This horse won the Discovery, but the horse started, I think the horse's name started with a D. But it reminds me of that horse, where kind of a late bloomer, you know.
I don't think it's a late bloomer, but this is definitely a horse with issues. And Mott's been incredibly patient, and the horse is ready maybe for his big step up. I thought the Suburban was ended up maybe as you talk about Happy Saver, maybe the Suburban was a little bit of a weak race. I mean, remember Max Player got my spot play designation and won at almost 12-1 by a neck. Great ride by Santana that day. The track was not sloppy. That's wrong. Maybe good to muddy by the time they were running. But you know, he won that race. He beat Happy Saver. I really don't like Chess Chief. I don't like Night Ops. I don't like Forewarned. I mean, this is a 3-horse race. And I'll show you the sheet. It takes Happy Saver and it gives the S play. But if you're right, if this horse really has regressed and is not the same horse he was at 3, then my sheet's probably overvaluing him because he's getting a credit for all that past form. Max Forza is way low down here because Forza is the fastest horse in the race, gets the energy score of 100, but Forza's taking that huge step up, never faced anything like this before.
Yeah.
Forza's way down here. And it really looks like a race, I'm probably on Happy Saver. That's probably the way I'm looking at this thing. But your point is well taken.
Yeah, I mean, he could easily, I could just be imagining that. I mean, he could easily be, he could just be. He's only had 2 starts off the layoff, right? Diversify was the name of that horse I'm thinking of, that won the Gold Cup on the front end. Maybe he might have won it twice. But it's hard to tell with a horse like Happy Saver. It's hard to tell, but it's also hard to take like 6-5 on a horse like that, because he just hasn't quite seemed like he's the same, but he could just kind of be revving up. Some of these older horses are like that.
Be an interesting race. And not an easy one to make a selection. The 3 horses we talked about, you can make a case for all 3. And if you're playing serial wagers, you can't use all 3. So it's a difficult race to play. You really got to pick a horse and hope you're right. Anyway, Jake, thanks for welcoming me back from my road trip. And it was a good discussion, and we will talk to you later.
Okay.